Hello and welcome to the big picture. The story of the Delhi Assembly elections, which is in the last leg of campaigning, is that of the Aam Aadmi Party. The fledgling party had belied almost all expectations in 2013 and won 28 out of the 70 seats and even went on to form a government. However, it left the government only to end up with no seats in Delhi in the Lok Sabha elections. The party, which just managed to lead in only 10 assembly segments in the last Lok Sabha elections, was seen then as having lost the race. The massive victory of BJP in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections and the surge it saw in the states which went to polls in the last 6 months all resulted in the thinking that Aam Aadmi Party has been left behind. But in the last couple of weeks, the party has seen a surprising surge and is now considered by all opinion polls as either giving the BJP a run for its money or even ahead of it. Why and how did the Aam Aadmi Party come back into reckoning in Delhi? What does it mean and what can we look forward to on February 10th when the results come out? And how does it reflect on the BJP as well as the Congress? We will discuss all this today with Professor Pushpesh Pant, political analyst and former professor at the JNU, Sheela, Bhat, senior editorial director news at reader.com, and Vipul Mudgal, senior journalist. Welcome to all of you. Professor Pushpesh Pant, do you find it interesting that, in the last about 2-3 months back when the Delhi elections were being talked about, and it was seen as having a, done thing that the BJP is set to form a government in Delhi. But now the situation seems to have changed. Why do you think it has changed?
I think there is nothing surprising in this. I think, Girish, the problem is that it is said that a week is too long a time in politics. And you are talking in terms of months this change has come over. I think 2 or 3 things very clearly, very briefly should be mentioned. The BJP has blown it. The BJP has lost the plot.
BJP has blown it.
And BJP has lost the plot.
Okay.
What was being alleged about Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, the evidence is on the contrary, shows that they have done it. The BJP party has enough factions in Delhi to ruin electoral chances for themselves all alone without Aam Aadmi Party. Then I think this great master stroke, the trump up the sleeve, getting Kiran Bedi, who generates too much negativity to my mind. I mean, she is falling back on a mythic past as a police officer junior where she was Kiran Bedi and dared to lift the Prime Minister's vehicles, and there's a mythology of her past. I'm afraid that people find that kind of thing unacceptable. Then the kind of negative campaign that was launched against Arvind Kejriwal, Bhagoda hai, Chor hai, doesn't know this, the party is full of anarchists and so on. People are used to a reasonable amount of functioning anarchy in this country's democracy. Foreigner political analysts have commented on it. So we are not particularly worried about anarchy. We are not worried about tainted money being used in politics. And you can't call somebody a Bhagoda, a runaway, a run-chod when you have not allowed him to function. People would blame Congress rather than Arvind Kejriwal for that. He still manages to retain a cleaner image, unfortunately for his opponents, than most of them.
Sheela, would you agree with that?
No, I think even you said that BJP was all set to form the government. No, I don't think so. Because you see the fact...
Going by the pattern
Even then, nobody in BJP has, at least privately or publicly, has said that, that confidence. And that's why they were delaying the election also, and our party went to Supreme Court, and because of that this has happened. So first of all, it's incorrect to say BJP always knew that Delhi is a difficult terrain. State BJP of Delhi was one of the worst or state level organizations in entire India, most fractured. Then third thing is that we always think of BJP in those states like Maharashtra or Rajasthan, Gujarat. They had an anti-Congressism to fight for. Here there is Congress, they are not fighting Congress, they are fighting a party which is a new baby and it has an innocence attached to it. BJP had such innocence in 1980, 82, 83 which AAP is enjoying now, because being a new party they get automatic advantage. And I feel right now that why the things are looking this way for BJP is, BJP's biggest strategic mistake is to question Arvind Kejriwal's honesty and integrity, which is not gelling well. I think that is a strategic mistake. Not that BJP itself is so weak, But BJP's strategy to question the financial and other honesty, particularly of Kejriwal individually, you cannot do it just before 15 days of election. So I think that is a strategic mistake to take on personally Kejriwal's honesty. But otherwise, I think they can make. They were knowing that this is AAP is a tough nut to crack, and BJP was aware.
Okay, we are now joined in by Sanjay Kumar, Director, Center for the Study of Developing Societies, CSDS, and also a leading psephologist. Welcome, Sanjay. Sanjay, you know, when we look at this campaign, what is happening in Delhi, 2 days to go for the campaign to end, 4 days to go for the voting to take place. My question is that, you know, when the Lok Sabha elections were held in this country, and when we looked at the results of the Lok Sabha elections in Delhi especially, all 7 seats won by BJP, 60 out of the assembly, 70 assembly segments BJP led, only in 10 Aam Aadmi Party led. Then there was this feeling that the Aam Aadmi Party is a lost cause. And the way the Modi wave happened in this country, and which we saw in the elections to various states in the last 6 months. What has changed since then?
See, one clearly that this is a state assembly election, and the way Kejriwal campaigned during the last couple of months, 3-4 months, he made it clear to the people, and he was to a great extent successful in convincing the people that Lok Sabha elections are different. Now they are not voting for to elect a prime minister, not voting to elect a central government, but this is an election going to take place to elect the state government. And he actually campaigned on a very aggressive note on this, that if you elect BJP, if you vote for BJP, Modi is not going to be your chief minister. Who is going to be your chief minister if BJP comes to power? It's still not clear. While if Aam Aadmi Party is voted to power, I am going to be the chief minister. And as rightly said earlier, that Kejriwal's personal integrity has not been challenged by people. There is a big section of voters who admire Kejriwal, who thinks that he is the person who would be able to eradicate corruption and take on the big business houses about which people don't have good opinion. So that's the big change between Lok Sabha elections and...
No, Sanjay, my question is this. The image of Modi versus the image of Kejriwal, that was what was supposed to be this election all about. What has happened there?
Yeah, because Lok Sabha election was a referendum on Modi, in which Modi actually won hands down. This election, Delhi election, turned out to be a referendum on Arvind Kejriwal, and I think in that people are intending. Right now we only have opinion polls, and there is a clear indication that in this referendum on Modi, lots and lots of large section of Delhi voters are giving him a positive, like voting for Arvind Kejriwal. So in this referendum on Arvind Kejriwal, he is going to be successful, it seems.
Okay, interesting. Vipul, still all this what has been said doesn't really explain this sudden surge of the AAP. Do you think all this explains, or do you still have some other, explanations for why this is happening?
I think my explanation is quite simple. I think the political parties are not realizing, they are still living in their time warps. But the fact is that Delhi has changed. They still believe it is the same Delhi which was a city of Punjabi migrants, a city of government servants, a city of urban villagers. Now suddenly it's a completely different city. It's a city of new aspirations. There are people coming from all over the country, young people, courier service boys, the unorganized sector workers, with stars in their eyes. They wear t-shirts and jeans, and wherever they're living, they connect through the urban cosmology called the metro rail. And, it's a completely different class. The city has taken these political parties by surprise. And the same aspirational class which had voted Modi actually in the Lok Sabha elections are now turning around and saying that we are going to vote Arvind Kejriwal. And this is turning out to be also
why? The question is why?
The question is, it's
one of the explanations Sanjay gives is that, they see assembly elections different from the Lok Sabha election. But because this argument didn't work in Maharashtra, didn't work in Haryana, didn't work in even to Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand. Why is it not working?
I think there is no contradiction. You see, my own dipstick surveys that I conduct every day on the road, talking to all kinds of people, I have been asking them, why did you vote Modi and why aren't you voting Modi this time? And they are openly saying, "नहीं clear ना, हम तो अभी भी मोदी साहब के supporter हैं. We support Modi, but we are also supporting
See,
Kejriwal."
Girish,
So there is actually, they are not seeing a contradiction there, and they are openly saying that yes, for the same reason why we voted Modi for good life or अच्छे दिन, we are now voting this guy. We believe him more.
Aam Aadmi Party has given the explanation for your question. They say that idea of Modi and idea of Kejriwal can coexist. In my interview in rediff.com, they say that Modi is here for defense and security and foreign policy issues of India, and for fixing road, bijli and power issues of Delhi, we will vote for Kejriwal. So let PM be Modi and let CM Kejriwal. So that kind of even Aam Aadmi, and please understand and see that Kejriwal and his Ashish Khetan, Ashutosh, Yogendra Yadav, they have spoken with name of Jaitley, Amit Shah and others, but not Modi. So they are not targeting Modi directly, sharply.
That is interesting. Would you
I
agree?
would agree entirely.
This is very interesting point which she is making.
No, I think Sheela is making an extremely interesting and stimulating point, that the idea of Modi and idea of Arvind Kejriwal can happily coexist. Both are clean, squeaky clean, nothing has been found as yet. They both are patriotic, it can't be challenged. The integrity of both is probably comparable. But the baggage which Mr. Modi carries is the loud mouth from members of censor board to Bajrangadal, the Hindutvaadis, Mahayogi Adityanath and Praveen Togadiyas, who are useful for him, but it is not a BJP versus Aam Aadmi Party battle at all. To my mind, it is a battle of two individuals. And I think it's very
bad. No, one is that battle between two individuals you're talking about. I want Sanjay also to come in on this later. There are three individuals. Actually, there's Kiran Bedi also.
I'm afraid let's not mention her in the same breath, because Kiran Bedi is, I think, damp squid, lost Scud missile kind of a thing. I mean, she's an unguided missile. She has lots of negativity around her, and I think it is a bad choice to project her as.
Would you think it was a bad choice?
No. See, Narendra Modi has a kind of a new politics within BJP. He is replacing the pre-Modi era state infrastructure and leadership with a new one. It is incredible thing to happen, what has happened now.
Absolutely.
That one year some 40 to 50 new state leadership in state capitals are visible in BJP headquarters in different capitals of India. So Modi, and I have written about this, Girish, that in Maharashtra non-Maratha, in Jharkhand non-tribal, and in Haryana non-Jat, only Modi and Amit Shah can nominate. Imagine this, three chief ministers.
Here is a person who is not even a party member.
See, if you lose election, it's your mistake. I mean, there is no then further discussion. But there is a calculation, and in a very lighter tone, they say, BJP leaders say that this is for you, meaning media and candlelight walas who gather at Jantar Mantar and India Gate, that they thought in their scheme of things, so 2-3 purposes were served. One is that Kiran Bedi was a fresh face, and MCD corruption tinted local BJP leaders will be kept out. One.
There have been, Sheela ji, there have been allegations about the integrity of Kiran Bedi.
One, then this scandal, Jatnar Mattar and other crowd, which is quite visible, loud and noisy in Delhi. So Kiran Bedi definitely it's a recognizable face. Three, women, because women's safety is a big issue. And fourth is this, which I find very not so democratic, is that the idea of BJP leadership that they can outsource state aspirations to Narendra Modi, this is difficult to digest.
That is Sanjay. Sanjay, the country was fed with this theory that when elections to other states happened, that the face of Narendra Modi will sell, and who is going to be the leader is immaterial. It will be chosen later and things like that. Why did they have to? Why do you think they had to withdraw that strategy and come out with this new strategy? One. Second thing, again, I'm coming back to this point. All this, does it explain why why Aam Aadmi Party has come back into reckoning in such a strong way?
See, first about the face. While in other states there was BJP had a Modi face, while there was no credible face among other opposition parties who could match the popularity of Narendra Modi in that state. While things were very, very different in Delhi. While if BJP was able to project Narendra Modi as the face, there was Kejriwal who was seen as more competent or more apt to Delhi's politics. So in that sense, there was a stronger match for Narendra Modi's popularity in the name of, say, Arvind Kejriwal, and that is why when BJP feared that Narendra Modi's magic may not work here in Delhi, they had to, import Kiran Bedi in order to shield Modi if in case BJP gets defeated in this election. That is the main reason why Kiran Bedi was brought in. Precisely, they thought that it might mobilize some additional vote for BJP, and also in case of defeat.
It may still mobilize additional vote for BJP. If we just leave the opinion polls aside, you think that still that strategy can work. There are 2 more days to go. Somebody was talking about a great speech made by the Prime Minister today in one of the election rallies. Do you think that these kind of elections can change in the last 2 days as far as voters' mood is concerned?
I think if we look at this Delhi election, a large section of voters have already made up their mind. There is still a tiny section of voters, not everyone has made up their mind, tiny section of voters who have made up their mind, but going by the mood, I think the advantage in the last 2 days will go in favor of Aam Aadmi Party, because at the last minute, sizable section of voters, when they go to vote on the polling day, might think that let's try out a new party. This is a new party, why don't we give one chance to this party with a full majority. So that would be a strong consideration in the minds of those voters who may not have made up their mind up till now.
Professor Pant, the question was that Bagoda was a huge thing. It worked in the 2014 elections actually, that Arvind Kejriwal ran away from power and things like that.
I'm not so sure if anybody believes that.
I'm coming to the point. The point is that now when we are talking of why people are going back to Aam Aadmi Party, why Aam Aadmi Party is looking like a winning horse almost, or at least a horse which is very close in the race. There's another, I've been reading some news reports and things like that, the feeling among the people that we don't want some kind of a, same party to rule everywhere. Some kind of authoritarian tendencies can come up. You think that is one of the reasons?
No, I have a simpler romantic explanation for this. Everybody prefers an underdog. I mean, you give a dog a bad name, you flag it, you try to hang him, and he generates sympathy. It's a David versus Goliath struggle. You have a great master machination operator like Amit Shah. You have a charisma which is unmatched, invincibility factor. There is no such thing as invincibility forever in this human imperfect life. You always have the story of the tortoise and the hare. There also is Berlin, people would remember, there's an essay by a hedgehog and the fox. So on one side there's a wily fox, on the other side there is a hedgehog. On the one side there is a tortoise, and the other side is a clever hare who thinks he will win the race. You brought out the metaphor of a winning horse. So the odds in a horse race are totally different. So I think Vipul made an extremely valid point that Delhi has changed, politics has changed. We are no longer talking in terms of a paisa vasool speech which will sway the voters to the other side.
But you see, all tricks.
Vipul, I want you to
all tricks. Let me just add one point.
This feeling, or I've been reading reports and people talking about it, that people don't want same party to rule in too many states, and this authoritarian tendencies may start developing, so we need to control it. Is that one of the factors?
I don't think so. I think it's more like an intellectual talk.
Yes.
I think intellectuals, as an intellectual, I believe that. I think you also believe that let's have a little bit of variety in the country. You see, what Sanjay's work of 70 slums in India shows us very clearly that a class is becoming more important than caste in Delhi.
Absolutely.
Poor thing, and I have been reading in newspapers interviews with very small people, like small chaatwala with a surname like Agarwal, a small electrician with a surname like Sharma, upper caste but lower class, and they are the aspirational people. They want to send their children to English medium schools. See, what the other thing I am seeing in this election is that BJP is really running out of its arsenal. They have tried communal mobilization very clearly. There have been riots in places which have not seen riots in 30-40 years. There have been vandalism at churches. Something which I have never seen in the last 50 years in Delhi. These things have not happened. Now, the kind of money which is being spent, I am told there are 350 hoardings. I mean, media reports say 350 hoardings, each one costing about 15 to 20 lakhs. You are talking about 45 crores. That kind of money. You switch on any channel on radio while driving your car, and you hear a media blitzkrieg, talking about BJP, and then calling him not just Bagoda, but also Naxalwadi, calling him anarchist, calling him thief yesterday. So all this has boomeranged now.
Absolutely.
And I think...
See, I've
Sheila, my question was the question which I asked him. About,
No, so listen, it's a class war between...
One is class war. The other thing is people thinking that, let them do right.
Yes, I wanted to add to this. See, there are a certain section. I think it's not just an intellectual thing. It's a quite legendary Indian water, that famous legendary, mistake of Indian water. I think they may be thinking कि एक झोली में सब कुछ नहीं डाल देना है, what type of a thing that can be there. Or secondly, Kejriwal, look at him, he is trying to be humble, he is trying to say sorry repeatedly, and I disagree a little bit with Mr. Mudgal in that sense that Kejriwal, our party definitely is not starving of money, please. This time it's a very nice thing. I'm not saying it's good. It's good.
The biggest guns.
Yeah, that is
2
but
crores.
nobody has.
And you 45 crores in just holdings.
Which will not take wicket. It's just a bouncer which will not take wicket. So it is a.
Sure, I think more dirty tricks department will come out. More will come out.
But I would say definitely. I'm also living in Delhi. I'm a voter and I will be voting. पैसा सबके पास है. No, let us not talk about it. But a serious thing I would say that I'll name you, and I have already written in detail about it, a very big article. Rakesh Kumar, West Patel Nagar. He has a Lucky Properties and one box for property dealing, and side में एक juice center. And he told me that she, who was a dishwasher in his, he says his dream is to vote for Kejriwal, but he say I can't vote for Kejriwal because I have 4 children. I'm crushed under the burden of education, and if I vote Kejriwal, why I will be trapped in between the infighting of
can I just say something?
center and please excuse me.
One second.
No, just a minute, just last line. That I am saying that there is a definitely Kejriwal hawa, but people are equally clarity. People and voters have a equal clarity who wants to vote for BJP.
So, BJP voters will also be. You see
it's a very neck and neck fight.
Sure, that point has been very well made. What I am saying is that you see there is a new politics coming, and some of it is also coming through. Some of it is coming through Modi also, but some of it is coming through Kejriwal and the political party donations. The way the political parties work. See the high command culture. Here is a high command which just calls up the senior leaders and tells them about 1 hour after a new chief ministerial candidate has joined.
That's okay.
So, arrogance of a ruling party.
Let me get Sanjay. Let me get Sanjay. Sanjay, again coming back to this, because I am trying to figure out why this surge is happening in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. All of you have said something, but this point that we should not have same party governments everywhere. Authoritarian kind of behavior can emerge. So we would like to vote for Aam Aadmi Party. Is that something which you think is a factor working in favor of it?
No, not at all. I don't think this is in the mind of a common voter of Delhi or in any other city or a state, that they would make such a clever distinction that BJP is ruling in several states, they are ruling in the center, so let's vote for a different party. I think the surge for Aam Aadmi Party, especially during last 10-15 days, is because of the negative campaign, aggressive negative campaign against Aam Aadmi Party, which has generated a kind of sympathy in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. That is giving Aam Aadmi Party an edge over BJP. That's my reading of why Aam Aadmi Party has suddenly surged over BJP during last 10 days.
Okay, Professor Bhat?
I'm tempted to explain this in terms of, rhyming. You are talking of the surge in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. I think it's because BJP has misread the aspirational urges of the common man and has decided to splurge in money and compensate for it. So the misdirected splurge of money, misreading of the urge of the people has resulted in a surge in favor of Aam Aadmi Party. There is nothing more to it.
In beginning I said that
one point which you made about
strategic biggest strategy. It's a वो मौत का सौदागर हो जाएगा. But Sanjay, you as Mr. Kumar, you are saying, I am saying the same thing, that questioning integrity of is a very big political error.
Negative propaganda.
We are also talking about political donations. I mean, come on, all political parties which have 70% to 90% of all their donations are undisclosed. They are asking a party which has everything disclosed. Very interesting.
That is fine, but sir, one of the points which Sheela made also. So, we have seen this happening in this country, and I want Sanjay also to answer this. That people saying that, like this Sharma whom she was mentioning about, that why should we as a voter, a citizen, get caught in the center versus state jagda? So why not vote for the same party which is ruling at the center?
But Girish, in a country of 1.28 billion people, surely some would be following the classic line from Ramcharitmanas, "Kaun ho hamo kahani," and everybody would have a different opinion on this one. But to go back to one point very briefly, I don't think it's a choice between one party ruling very many states. Where is BJP ruling? It is not ruling in Himachal, not in Uttarakhand, not in UP, not in Bihar, not in Bengal, not in Assam, not in most places in Northeast, not in Karnataka, not in Odisha, not in Tamil Nadu, not in Kerala. So, I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, people of India have enough diversity of regional and national parties in the politics.
I think it's more about, we actually read out names of many states where BJP is not leading, but it's about momentum. After the BJP's victory in 2014 Lok Sabha election, actually they managed to register victories in Haryana, Jharkhand.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. So, but I won't agree with this fact that people are so careful. That a common voter is making such a informed choice that, okay, BJP is winning, has formed the government at the center, so let's vote for a different party because we don't want one party to be ruling in several states. That's not an informed choice a common voter is making. It's only about a choice which is new to them, a party which is new and which seems to have connected well with the common, like aspiration needs of the people of living in Delhi. That's why we see large number of people, at least in the poll, indicated that they are going to vote for Aam Aadmi Party.
Sanjay, would this election, how are you looking at this election in terms of vote percentages? The drastic. It's very interesting that in the Lok Sabha elections, actually Aam Aadmi Party had retained its vote base or got a little more actually than 34. What it got in 2013. Yeah. So
No,
do you see huge vote swings in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party now, or with that same vote share they will be able to do as well?
No, I think Girish, it is important or it is useful to compare it with the previous assembly election. Look at the 2013 Lok Sabha elections. BJP is almost standing where it was in 2013 assembly election.
Yeah.
BJP is almost where it was in 2013 election as going by the various polls. They had 33% vote and most of the polls are indicating that they would get about 35-36% vote. Congress had 24% votes in 2013. Most of the polls have indicated that they would go down to say 14-15%, and that has actually happened in 2014 Lok Sabha election.
Right.
So the Congress is losing 10% and most of the gains, 90% of the gains is going to Aam Aadmi Party. So that's the big change which seems to be happening. Or when the votes are counted on the 10th of February, we would get to know that. But that's the story.
Are you trying to say that Aam Aadmi Party is gaining at the expense of Congress?
Yes, absolutely. Aam Aadmi Party is gaining at the expense of Congress, and that is why we see poorer sections of voter shifting towards Aam Aadmi Party in a big way, who have voted for Congress during last three assembly elections, 2003 to 2008 and even in 1998.
Can Congress regain at the expense of Aam Aadmi?
No, he's saying Congress is losing at the expense of Aam Aadmi Party is gaining at the expense of Congress. Anyway, I think we have completely run out of time. We will take Sanjay Kumar's word for this. We will wait for the next few days to know exactly what has happened. But this has been an interesting discussion. Why the Aam Aadmi Party is surging? Whether it will be able to deliver the way the opinion polls are showing is something we'll have to wait and watch. Thanks to all my guests, Sanjay Kumar, Pushpesh, Pant, Sheela, Bhat and Vipul, Mudgal. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue, Big Picture, same time tomorrow.